Welcome to Friday Vibes. No script, just chat. We talk all things food and beverage, and so much more. Feel our vibe and search for Friday Vibes on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And make sure to give us a 5-star review. Now your hosts, me, Alex Baer with Genius Juice, and Wade Yeti. Hello. Welcome to episode 45 of Friday Vibes. 5 rhymes with vibes. That's always convenient. I am one of your hosts here on the left side of your screen, Alex Baer, CEO and co-founder of Genius Juice. And over there is another guy in a black hoodie. We're kind of in the winter, darker colors going on right now. Wade Yeti.
I gotta do this. This is very abnormal for me to do this. This is Quantum Energy Squares. I look at that. Bendos is here, just like I just tagged him.
Clockwork.
Just like that. He heard me say the words and he comes on just like that. So, yep. I'm just in a hoodie. I figured I'd match you today.
Yeah, I mean, and I dressed to match you, so all worked out. So we have some laundry list items to go over. Number one, so we have filled the sponsorships for December. Everyone has been super grateful. We have sponsors like Rooted Food Sales coming up. We have Rich Insights. We have Brandjectory. We have Midday Squares. And of course, we have our sponsor today, Blackbird Foods. I mean, Gavin's everywhere. It's hard to avoid him at this point. So we're just like, fine, you can be a sponsor again. Like we give up. We give up.
Well, he's hot off some successes with Blackbird. So I'm sure he's happy to do it.
Absolutely. And it's great food, you know, and also make sure to give us 5 stars, 5. That was a remix. Go on Apple Podcast. We have 70 positive feedbacks that are 5 stars already. We need to get to 100. Go on there. It's Apple Podcast. I mean, you know, my phone's somewhere here. I mean, it is so easy. It is so freaking easy. Go to Apple Podcast. You know, I have NPR News. It shouldn't be NPR News first. It should be Friday Vibes first. Go to Friday Vibes. You see our faces there. You see the orange screen. Go all the way to the bottom and you write a review. It's that easy.
You know, though, Alex, I'm Apple Podcast is great, and we want you to go there and give the review. But I'm going to throw a challenge out to our listeners, our viewers, or what have you. Right? So everyone's posting the 2022 Spotify wrapped up, all that stuff. Spotify has podcasts, and so if you listen to us on Spotify, and we're the number 1 in your year-end show, take a screenshot of that and send it to us. We want to see that. I know there's people that listen to podcasts on Spotify. If Friday Vibes is your number 1 podcast of 2022, take a screenshot and send it to FridayVibes100@gmail.com, or throw it in the chat if you can do that. I don't know if that's a thing or not.
Cool. And by doing that, your Christmas will be merrier.
That's right. Absolutely.
We can't make a lot of guarantees on the show, but that is one guarantee that we can make. You're going to feel happier. You might get better presents from Santa Claus. You know, we have an in with Santa Claus. We can have him stop on your roof and go down your chimney and give you more presents. So we can do that for you. Big announcement is we have a sponsor on the show, a permanent sponsor, and we're going to bring out our guest. We have a guest today, by the way. You know, we're taking a while to bring him out, but he's going to come out very soon. But we have a big full year sponsor with V-Driven Consulting. We're very, very proud of that. We have Luke Abbott and the rest of the team, Brandon, Luke Abbott, everyone over there at V-Driven. And they do sales consulting. They're kind of like a master sales organization. Luke Abbott is a great entrepreneur, and he created V-Driven as a way to help brands sell into retailers. And they have a lot of existing relationships, just like with Jimbo's, just like with other retailers on the East Coast, West Coast, North Coast, South Coast, everywhere. And they're amazing. So they're going to be providing us our vibe men. They're going to be offering in a nice, very nice way, a part-time admin to help us run the show. And they're also going to be offering their consulting services and plenty of deals as we go through different episodes. So I'll let Wade go into kind of a summary about them, and then we'll move on to bringing out our guest.
Yep. You hit the nail on the head. V-Driven is a CPG partner for emerging purpose-driven brands. They fuel growth and innovation by providing strategies and support in every phase of the retail journey, from leadership, coaching, brand management, accounting, sales, strategy, to day-to-day tactical support. They can be the end-to-end solution for a brand's business needs. Their leadership team has decades of real-life experience in all of the key areas of the business and knows what it takes to help brands succeed. So vdriven.com or luke.abbott@vdriven.com. vdriven.com obviously is the easy way. Check them out. And we appreciate the sponsorship. That's great stuff.
Yeah. Thank you again. And again, they're going to be a sponsor through a majority of 2023. As long as we can make it happen, they're going to stay a sponsor. So, okay. So we're going to go into our guest now. He's been waiting patiently. I can see him, but you can't see him yet. His name is Tony Stevenson, not Steve Toneyson. It's Tony Stevenson. That is his name. And he is with Green Rabbit. He's been with them for 3.5 years. He's a senior product and integration manager. I'm going to put on some music, and not only put on some music, I'm going to put on also, this is the only thing I could find, which is ridiculous, just to celebrate this guy coming on. So
you look, you're a hop, skip, hop, get it, rabbit, skip and a jump away from Peter Billingsley and Christmas Story.
Oh yeah.
It's like, right. Where are they now? Where are they now? That's you.
That's me. I look just like them, right? I'm a nerd. I have blonde hair and glasses.
40 years later, exactly.
40 years later. All right, so we got Tony Stevenson on the show with Green Rabbit. I'm not going to keep this on the entire episode, by the way.
Afternoon. You succeeded where I failed there. So great to be on the show. Great that it's Friday.
Yeah, for sure. And I was hoping that you'd be showing up in like a rabbit suit from Amazon. I was making some recommendations, but just a no-go.
The rabbit suit, let's just say there were supply chain issues with the rabbit suit. So we have, lots of great options in R&D. And as soon as the rabbit suit's there, we'll definitely share with you, Alex.
Good stuff. Well, I don't see a rabbit, but I do see a bird.
There is. We do have also special guest Larry Bird. So,
yeah, he's good.
Love it.
All right. So for those now, this is interesting because usually we bring on guests that are in the CPG space. When I say that, they're a brand owner, whether it's Lemon Perfect or Midday Squares or whoever. This is different because you are on more of the back end side, on the 3PL side, on supplying people all over the country with products and brand partners that you have. So the reason we wanted to bring you on is, number one, Genius Juice has joined Green Rabbit. We're now partners, and we fulfill all of our orders on Amazon and online through Green Rabbit. And I'm good friends with Joe Melville, who is the CEO of the company, and now good friends with Tony now that we're meeting. And so tell us about what you guys do, like where brands can really benefit from you, and like how did you get into this space, going into delivering products to people all over the country? I mean, how did the company start is the better question.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And thanks for the introduction and laying the groundwork there, right? I listened to that Lemon Perfect podcast with Yanni, and man, he was just a energetic and really good stuff and insightful on that end. And then it's like, all right, now let's talk about 3PL perishable fulfillment. It's usually, you place the order, it arrives at the door, and, we're somewhere in the middle there. Really Green Rabbit, right? We are a perishable e-commerce, fulfillment company, right? Really in the D2C space, right? Direct to consumer, orders is primarily what we do, with a national footprint of warehouse locations in the Massachusetts, Indiana, and California areas, really focusing across many different heat types, right? Whether your product's like Genius Juice and it's refrigerated, or a frozen product. And we deal a lot in the, the meltable space, right? Think, chocolates, right? Gummy multivitamins, things that are shelf stable, ambient. Our quote unquote ambient is like 65 degrees, low humidity, really trying to prevent the product from melting on that side. Our business model, right, is, we do the fulfillment. We have the 3PL side of things, where we're working directly with CPGs of all sizes, from companies just starting out, getting out of the box, really focusing on direct to consumer, e-commerce business, to some of the world's largest CPG customers. We also have, we kind of sit in the middle between you and Alex, or Wade and Alex, right? Like, we also do a lot of distribution for major retailers. So we're connected into 6 of the top 10 largest retailers in the country, where we're doing drop ship perishable food fulfillments, and then also value-added services, right? Working with our partners on kitting, bundling, customization opportunities to provide unique experiences, and really expand that virtual shelf from that side. So kind of the story of I got Joe as the man. I like that, as I kind of transition here a little bit into Joe Melville, our Chief Growth Officer, and his cousin, Greg Ballesteri, our CEO, who actually founded the company, 12-ish years ago, around 12 years ago, and starting out as candy.com, right? Joe has a, family candy company on the East Coast, and Greg was working with Joe, on the e-commerce side, and they came up with this idea of, like, that time not a lot of people were shipping chocolate online, and came up, really started the business as shipping chocolate and being an online candy store, right? And they went out and they bought the domain candy.com, which is really, from an e-commerce standpoint, not a better name for an online candy store. And they started shipping, selling online, candy online, shipping the orders out of themselves. They were kind of fine tuning, like, how are we going to get this chocolate not to melt? Kind of doing some trial error, different use cases on that side. And, that grew, was successful, was a great business. They were buying, a lot of chocolate and candy from, these manufacturers, and came to them with the opportunity, manufacturer came to them with the opportunity of, hey, we have this program where we need to ship, product online through the summer when it's hot, of chocolate, right, for this retailer, and came to that with that opportunity, and that's kind of how the service portion, spurred out of the business on that end. And that led into, we were great at shipping chocolate. We brought on more customers. How can we use the automation, right, and the logic that we built around of shipping that chocolate in other categories, whether it's refrigerated, using more gel pack to keep it at, that nice 36 degree temperatures, how that heat profile works, or a frozen product, even, where we're shipping it with dry ice. I mean, I think that's where you look at things that differentiate us, from our customers. It's our automation. And a lot of that's our logic from a cold ship perspective, right? Whether it's the distributed order management of, all right, you sent us an order, where's that order going to ship from? The icing logic of how much icing is going to be used on that, as well as the carton and thermal logic. We don't have someone out back, searching weather.com for temperatures of, how much ice Genius Juice variety pack is going to get, if it's shipping from our California warehouse to, Arizona in January. All of that is built in, automated, kind of the technology and the secret sauce behind, what we do at Green Rabbit.
And I want to, one thing I'll jump in on real quick is the automation piece that you were talking about. What I find fascinating about it, from talking extensively with Joe, if I have a 1 hour call with him, there's 40 minutes of talking about family and golf and everything except business, and then 20 minutes of talking about business. That's what I love about him. It's like catching up with an old friend. But what he did share with me about just the operations is how I guess complicated it would be the right word. It can be, it's being done, but it's complicated on what temperature, how do you pack the box, depending on where it's actually going in the US. If you were packing by energy drink, which is shelf stable, or essential water, that's freaking easy. You throw it in the box, it's plastic, it's not going to break. It could be 3 days delayed and it's still going to arrive in the same box. It's not going to be spoiled. Water doesn't spoil. I hope it doesn't spoil. But when it comes to something like Genius Juice or frozen steaks or yogurt or very highly perishable items, you have to pack it the correct way, or if it's a day late, 2 days late, it could spoil, it could bloat, and then a customer could get sick. So like, I can only imagine, like, if you get an order for Berkeley, California, and you're shipping from Sacramento, you know how to pack it. If you get an order for the southern tip of Texas or Florida with a rural area or something, and it takes 3 days to get there, you're going to pack that differently. So like, how are you guys managing? It's a long-winded way of saying, like, how are you managing all the complexities just in a very short manner? I know there's a lot of details here, Tony, but how are you managing just doing different shipments, different packing, different areas of the country, and then making that efficient at your warehouse? It's fascinating how you guys make it work.
Yeah, I mean, and at the simplest form, right? We joke about it. We're like anyone else fulfilling an order for, online, for e-commerce, right? We pick the item, we put it in a box, and we ship it. And the complexity of what we do is, now we're picking that item. We have to pick the right box with the right thermal liner, right? And, assign the correct amount of ice based on how that order is, how long that order is going to take to deliver to the customer, and, what the temperature is like for that. So, we have a phenomenal team, technology team, and, working with our business partners, who've really worked hard over, the, last many years of kind of fine tuning what that algorithm looks like, right? To really identify, all right, here's the box that we're going to use, in partnership with our, our quality team and our chief quality officer. Here's the box we're going to use. Here's how much ice it's going to get, for the shipment. You don't ship, Genius Juice, right? The same as, a chocolate item, right? So having those different heat sensitivity types based upon product category, or even category within, the category. You look at chocolate's a great example that, chocolates melt at different temperature based upon the ingredients. So, in our Massachusetts offices, right, we invested in thermal chambers to be able to test and simulate, that chocolate being shipped throughout transit, to see at what point does that chocolate start to melt, and how much, ice is required on that order. Because, chocolate, one chocolate may be different than other chocolate. Shipping a frozen product, shipping a frozen pizza is different than shipping ice cream, right? And that's really, where we, through that testing, trials, that quality and that automation that we're integrating in from a technology standpoint, really have been able to fine tune, like I said, it's our secret sauce and magic, that when it ultimately arrives to the customer's door, it's the same as if you were in the grocery store, in the fresh market, and, picking it off of the shelf.
Exactly. It's and one thing I see a lot of brands doing now is they because the pandemic obviously brought a ton of new business. I mean, it's so obvious to say that I almost don't even have to say that, but I'm going to say it anyway. And so I see brands that are now relying very heavily on e-commerce, very heavily, more than they thought. You know, we going into the pandemic, about 5% of our sales was online. Now it's 5, 6, 7x of that, you know, based on where we are now. But one thing that's really been an issue, you know, and I have a question for Wade after this, but I'll just point it out, is how expensive it is, right? And you have to really pad that in your margins. So we have to raise our price on our website because there is a cost to getting fresh product to someone in 2 days. Like it has to be a 2-day ground. It has to be a 2-day air. It's heavier. There's ice packs in there. That comes at a premium to get fresh items delivered to your door. So that's just something I want to point out because a lot of consumers, the end consumers, don't understand why a Genius Juice is $6.50 on the website, but then at a Whole Foods, it's $4.79. So that's something I want to point out. So Wade, being that you are a, I would just put it, you're a CPG specialist, right? That's your title on the show. But let's just say in your day, and still sometimes more so on the West Coast, you're receiving samples, right, to your office. Perishable samples, I'm sure, because Jimbo's prides themselves on fresh product. How many times out of 10 did something arrive bad? Like, was it improperly packed or it exploded all over the place when you opened it? You know?
Well, I touch on that all the time about samples because, you know, whether you're talking about refrigerated, frozen, what have you, you don't want to not put a good foot forward, right? You want that. That's your first impression. That's the hold on. My wife's phone is ringing over here. Hey, come get your phone. Sorry about that. Anyways, it was distracting me. But you know, this happened literally just last week, and I don't get a lot of samples now. But somebody was doing quote unquote something nice, and it was a pasta sauce, right? And it was kind of like a Christmas type thing. And you know, hey, great! I've opened the box, and as soon as I opened it up, one of the jars had busted, the glass, sauce everywhere, and I had to throw the whole thing away. You know, because as much as I appreciate the gesture, I'm not going to go to a sink and rinse off and see what's good and what's bad, right? I just trashed it. It's, you know, but when you talk about refrigerated product, it was very common. I don't know if I can give you a number out of 10, but I would say probably at least 4, if not 5 out of 10. You know, if the product comes in and it doesn't feel good, you know, if you don't see that, whether it's dry ice, whether it's cold packs, what have you. The other thing, and this is something I tell people all the time if you're sending samples out, know when you're sending samples. If you're talking about 2-day samples, don't send it on Thursday because guess what? It's going to sit there and by Monday or Tuesday when the buyer gets it, it's going to be terrible, right? And so you have to think about that piece as well as the breakage and all those other things. But yeah, that's one of the worst mistakes I've seen is that people sending refrigerated frozen products and either sending them towards the end of the week or not packing them properly to start with and just not being cold enough to, you know, to when it comes in. And I'm telling you, and Gavin's here, Kenny's here, when in doubt, you're throwing it out. If you get a sample and you're not sure, you're not going to take a risk. You're throwing it out. Yeah.
And glass is one of those things that you have to, for all the entrepreneurs that are going to glass or you're in glass, whether it's yogurt, whether it's honey, whether it's kombucha, like there's so many ways that can go wrong. Like, you know, because you have to assume the absolute worst, like something you see out of a movie where someone, if you ever seen the beginning of Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, when he's like kicking the box down the street and like, you know, that's a good example of like sometimes what happens at FedEx or UPS. Maybe not, they're not kicking it like a soccer ball, you know, World Cup, but you know, like they mishandle it. So I like doing the 2-story test. Have you heard of this? The 2-story test. You put the glass into a box, you drop the box from a 2-story window on the ground, and if it survives that, it's probably going to survive anything that you throw at it or anyone who throws it on the way to someone's door. But I got a product, Wade, actually from a sponsor on our show that was in glass. and it was wrapped in very thin paper. And I messaged them saying, I took a picture, but it was in confetti and paper. You probably maybe can guess who it is. And I reached in and I cut my finger on the glass. So there's also liability issues at stake, not only from people getting sick, but glass could be a huge issue. I want to reset the room. There's some comments here. And then also, Tony, there is a question for you. But before I do that, again, part of the show, Tony, is we shout out people. As you can tell, we don't know what the hell we're doing. It's no script, just chat. There's no agenda. There's no subject line, no items. We just talk shop, while we're here, which makes it, I think, better, more fun, more unpredictable and scary. Dima Mararu, hey, everyone, that he is with Guru Energy. He's keeping the entire UPS store in Torrance, on Torrance Boulevard, so energized that they're shipping out packages at an alarming rate out there. They're powered by Guru Energy. It's like a sign on their door. That's how fast they are. It's crazy. Those guys they were already energetic. Now they're over the top. Kenny Hausman, always a good Friday after a huge Bills win. I saw a guy at a supermarket dressed. I thought it was maybe like one of Kenny's long lost relatives. He was dressed Bills hat, Bills hoodie, Bills athletic pants, Bills undershirt. And he said, this is their year. That's what he told me.
It's the Bills Mafia.
Exactly. Quantum Energy, Michael Bendos. Gavin Who, that's Kenny Hausman. Ooh, First Blood by Kenny. Gavin said, wait, I can see your palm. Can I see your palm again? Go Michigan. Schoenberg, I love Gavin, but I now have a competitor to him. Sorry, buddy. Wow. Gavin said, Sean Berg, oh, snap. Let's see. Wade, you responded to Gavin. You're not a Michigan fan. True. Okay. A lot of back and forth here. What else here? I'm just trying to get through all this. Kenny Hausman, congrats, fellas. I just met with Luke the other day. What a great organization. Respect what V-Driven has done for emerging brands. David Delcourt with Grown As Mac, right? I get that right?
Grown As Foods.
Grown As Foods.
Yes.
Another Michael Bendos. Lemon Perfect would have made Larry Bird want to get back in the game after that podcast with Yanni. Gavin has 8 cases of Lemon Perfect to drink because he was a winner on that show. And a couple others here. And then also Joe is wishing me congratulations on the new Genius baby. Thank you, Joe. I love you, buddy. Great to be in business with you. And now the question. Thanks for being patient, Tony. So here's the question. From Kenny Hausman of Foodland out in Hawaii. Hey, Tony, does Green Rabbit currently assist in any way at retail, for example, retailer home delivery, like something like what Shipt is doing and all these other guys? Instacart.
Yeah, I mean, so our focus currently, right, is on the, from a national fulfillment, right, and really working with, major parcel carriers. So, we do work on, work with retailers, and really retailers across the board, right, whether they're, a grocer or online retailer, a lot of the office channels, and even down to hardwares and department stores, these major retailers. So a lot of our programs are currently direct to their drop ship, right? So customer orders on the website, you might order, I don't know, nails or a hammer from the retailer, and chips and chocolate, from us, and they send us the order for the chips and chocolate. We ship it out separately, and arrives to the address provided by the customer.
Yeah.
Nice. I was going to ask you, Tony, as far as the retailers, you're doing business with and talk, I'm going to be biased towards grocery, obviously, because you mentioned you're working with some of the bigger retailers, whether they're grocery or not, but it doesn't necessarily have to be grocery. It could be, let's just throw Walmart, whoever, right? So how are those orders coming to you? Are they coming through Green Rabbit, or are they coming through a third party and then coming to you?
So we are integrated directly into the retailer, right, through, a various different platforms. So, we have our own in-house development team. I actually work, directly and really closely with our integrations team. So whether you're, a retailer and, you have, an EDI platform set up where we're connecting in and through EDI on that end, or, you're a CPG and your website's ran off of Shopify and, we're connecting in through API via Shopify, right? We have a slew of different integrations. I think having that own in-house team, really allows us to be a little bit agnostic to your platform. And, if you have a way for us to connect and you can provide us the specs to make that connection, we can make that connection and integrate our platform to yours so we can get those orders on that end. I mean, we have a program that's, with an office supplier where, we actually pack the orders and palletize them in our Massachusetts facility. And they send trucks from the East Coast to that facility every night to come pick up the, cold shipped product and, take it back to their warehouse and then sort it at night. So it delivers the next day with, your paper and pens and all of your office supplies to the orders, and not actually, two separate, deliveries from that side of things.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, one other thing that I think about, Tony, in general, when brands are picking their partners, is the brands are only as good as far as customer service, customer satisfaction, reorders. Those brands are only as good as their partners. And for better, for worse, and usually, for better with Green Rabbit, and sometimes for worse with FedEx or UPS, because they're over inundated with so many orders, that if something goes wrong along the way with a shipment, it's delayed, it gets there in 4 days instead of 2 because of FedEx or UPS or whatever. Not a Green Rabbit issue. This is a freight issue that you can't control. That reflects on the brand, right? That reflects on us. And consumers, still don't understand, because it's just there's so many consumers out there, that if something goes wrong, it's not always the brand's fault. It could be something along the way, the logistics of it. So I just like to point that out, that you got to pick the right partners so that the product gets there safely, because the consumer will blame. We have been blamed for everything. Like literally the box could show up on the wrong driveway and someone says, I didn't find it until 4 days later when my neighbor pointed out it's on the wrong driveway and they gave it to me and it was already bad. They'll still blame us for that,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
the other thing too that I'll point out, at this point, I'm just on a soapbox, the Amazon culture has made consumers more self-entitled, and we're all nodding because we are too. Like I am. Like I want, it's next day, Prime, next day. It's going to arrive perfect. I'm going to get a photo once it's delivered, right? Like I get all the bells and whistles of that experience from clicking to opening the box. And so you have to be very careful, because consumers are more empowered than ever. They're more outspoken than ever. Like they will not be afraid to give you a bad review and tell their friends if there's a bad experience. And I'd say Amazon has really upped the bar so much that the expectations from consumers is so high when they order a product. So one thing that was also said on the comment, I'm pointing the right way. It's good. Everything's opposite on the show. I'm pointing left in my office, but it's going right. But I am pointing down at Tony, and it is going down. So that is working to our favor. When you have a perishable product, 100% recommend Monday through Wednesday shipping. Maybe Thursday if it's guaranteed to get there by Saturday. Like Green Rabbit has all those algorithms from me talking with Tony and talking with Joe, where if it's coming out of your Indiana warehouse and it's going to Indiana, you probably can ship it on a Thursday, right? But if it's going from Indiana to Texas, you probably would ship it on a Monday so it doesn't get there over the weekend and go bad. So something that I like to say, for Wade's sake, for any buyer's sake, ship Monday through Wednesday, please.
So you're down in Southern California, Alex, right? So
Right.
I can ship from our California warehouse, right, to you in Southern California, which is, and we're in the Visalia area, Central California. There's almond trees and produce there, and we have a warehouse that's right, really literally splitting Central Northern California, for that ground shipment. And we can send to your house, right, in one day in transit. And one thing we do look for is it a residential? Is it going to your house on that Thursday? In that one day in transit to make it there on a Friday, maybe a little bit of slack room if it does go on a Saturday, versus if we're shipping that sample order, right, to Wade's office on a Thursday, right? And it might not make it there on a Friday, and having that differentiation between that residential versus the commercial, because delivery is important. We are limited on shipping windows, and you look at the perishable shipping, and the days that we're able to ship is really kind of at the mercy of the carriers, the FedExes and the UPSs, and as their service times and offerings, and as you have conversations with them, they talk about adding additional delivery days and different things, and that's way complex of how they get to that, and just really from a labor base, right? But really the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, when we can ship everything, is super important, right? And having to be the quality product delivering is ultimately one of the primary focuses that we look at, that it is going to arrive as expected, as you would get it off of the shelf. And that makes for Monday, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, when everything's full go, super important. Our in our line of business, the worst ever day there is when the 4th of July falls on a Wednesday, and you can't ship the Tuesday before, you can't ship, you can't fully ship the Thursday after, and you got to really be careful of what you can ship, based upon a holiday schedule. As well as, we're coming up on peak Christmas, a lot going on through the carriers, not guaranteeing to deliveries to customers. So we're making a call on every order to the carrier on an order by order basis to understand how long it's going to take to get to the consumer, right? And we're seeing those change. We're seeing 2-day grounds now being 3 and 4-day grounds already, and having to be cautious of what's being sent when, and to your point, the cost conscious part of what ship method is being used to get that to the consumer.
Yeah. I think like another factor is going into the holidays, more people getting sick. There's going to be labor staff shortages. I mean, it could be a long story, of all the difficulties, but going through COVID in 2020, 2021, staff shortages at the warehouse, staff shortages with UPS or FedEx. I mean, that's a lot to handle, I'm sure.
Oh, we literally we were getting messages from UPS that the employees have to work 6 feet apart, so we're going to be a little bit slower, right? And saw some of that, staffing and getting people in and to work at that point in time was a challenge. I think we're starting to see some of that come around, and have been able to finally build some labor forces into it. But you look at what COVID did is really kind of have us all accept disappointment, right? That something wasn't going to be happen, and change some of those expectations. And, you look at this space in e-commerce and seeing the major growth there was, while trying to fight through these staffing shortages, while trying to work through, supply chain issues. And I finally think that, we're moving past that. And, that's really what's going to allow us all to really push the needles on our business and continue to drive forward. And I think a lot of our customers have been able to sustain that, pandemic boom. And I think it'll continue to grow and see a lot come out of it.
Yep. So wait, a couple questions if you want to tee up. for Tony.
Yep.
One from Julie, one from Dima as well.
Yeah, so Julie's asking about if she's correct that one of your main points of expertise is keeping products at appropriate temperatures during shipment. She joined us a little bit late. That's Julie Elder.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So that's really, we look at, and live, breathe, eat, perishable fulfillment, and how do we make sure that frozen pizza gets to you at that frozen temperature that you expected. How do we keep, chocolate is from melting right when it ships to you, and really, having the, automation from a, of how we are going to do that, and is definitely our expertise.
And then we got one from Dima. In your opinion, what are the main challenges on supply chain in 2023? And what do you recommend to CPG companies to be? What do you recommend them to do to be more proactive?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, really looking at, supply chain currently, definitely still seems to be a little bit of a challenge. I mean, I know the one we've fought is packaging and materials, right? Corrugate and our inner liners, right? We are a, huge, one of the largest consumers of, thermal liner shipping. We actually saw that, over the last couple of years, and have made the decision to go eco-friendly, completely curbside, recyclable on our packaging, and moving away from less eco-friendly options. And with we've engaged in some suppliers that can't meet the demand, right? They can't get it to us quick enough, and go through it. So, we've combated some stuff by really building some of the relationships with the suppliers, where we can. I think the other thing is that we saw supply chain issues in, let's say, ice, like gel packs and dry ice. And, we have a facility here in Whitestown, Indiana, where we got our own dry ice machine. We got our own gel pack machine. And now we're manufacturing it directly in our facilities to use it, for orders, which is great for dry ice, for example, where you're dissipating some of the CO2, and you're going to have that shortage where we're just making it right there, and it's going into a order within hours. Not to mention kind of, combat some of that eco-friendly nature where we're not having truckloads of ice come into our facilities, and there's less of that transit because, it's right there.
Yeah, it's really it's very cutting edge for sure. And I had no idea. I mean, you've done something really admirable on this episode, Tony. You've taken a very kind of conventional subject. I'm not going to say boring, but I'm going to say kind of conventional. It's not the most exciting, sexy thing. And he made it interesting because it really applies to where the business is going, and being more eco-friendly, ways to do things in-house to prevent transit time and transit with that, which creates more carbon monoxide. And also one thing, I mean, I'll state it was in the comments earlier, that you don't use foam, which to me is the biggest. I think, Wade, you're in the same boat with me. One of the biggest pet peeves, like when I get something in foam, I'm like, what a waste. You can't break it down. It's not biodegradable. When you throw it into a trash can, it takes up half of the trash can. It's just so big. So I love how, you guys are using a Green Rabbit. These liners are biodegradable. I think they're probably like a cornstarch of some kind. So that's the way we need to go. Because, I mean, you think about it, how many packages are being sent on a daily basis? I don't, worldwide, I would think it's probably in the billions, I would think, or in the very high millions, maybe in the millions, like the tens of millions. And like, you think, one person make a difference if one company does it and starts doing it for all their packages? You you kind of project that out over the year, over 2 years, over 5 years, over 10 years, you're saving a lot of raw materials that way, and also saving the environment. So I think people don't realize when one company does their part, it has a tremendous impact on everyone. So I only hope that more people are doing what you're doing, but they're not. So
we were meeting with a retailer a couple of years ago, right? And we were in their office, and we were talking about sustainability and eco-friendly initiatives. And they came into the meeting, and they wanted to be eco-friendly, completely curbside recyclable by 2023, right? And we're like, we want to be eco-friendly by yesterday, right? And I think you really look at the thermal properties of it. It performs at, or in some cases better than, the traditional styrofoam. That's filling the ocean, and terrible on the environment. From that side, we use a combination of that cornstarch, but even recycled corrugate and paper and that in a liner. And as we got into the more natural space, right, and organic and vegan and better for you products, right, like you don't want to send organic product in a kill the ocean styrofoam cooler. So it just made sense to really take that into play.
When a lot of the bigger companies are, if they're not demanding that you not use that, they're asking strongly. And I think that's the stance we were taking when I was out west as well. And I think so much to the point that there was talk about a refusable packaging and things like that. So if you're at one of those eco-friendly, sustainable type organizations, it's definitely, if it's not already the present here and now, it's the future.
Exactly. And it's better to start early. I mean, now with these raw materials are more in demand. I mean, like, think of our PET, right, versus just virgin plastic. Our PET was very rare like 5 years ago. I didn't really see it on that many bottles. I don't know about you, Wade, but I didn't really see it on that many bottles. But in the last 2 years, now companies are priding themselves on saying, hey, we're paying an extra cent or two per bottle, but this is recycled plastic, where it's pre-used plastic that's melted down, which does cause some, I know pollution to do that. I get it. But in the end, there's less plastic out there. There's less plastic in the environment or in the ocean. So I think like these raw materials are becoming more readily available, and our PET recycled plastic was not really available or not really cost effective 3 years ago. Now it is. So my point is, the more people are using it, the lower the cost. The lower the cost, more people can use it, and the cost goes down again, and it just keeps going. So that's where I'm going with that. It looks like there's another comment here, and then we're going to get into our next segment because we're running short on time, and there's holiday parties happening this weekend.
That's right.
And you can't be late for a holiday party, or else you're out. They won't let you in. You can't miss the eggnog. So thanks for your answer. This is from Julie Elder. How do your costs compare to other traditional shippers? And bravo for your sustainability efforts. So last question, and we'll get into our next segment.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you look at traditional shippers, right, from a pick pack, right, if you're just shipping an ambient item, we definitely are a little higher on that. But really, we are fully in the perishable space. All of our buildings are SQFI level 3 certified. Everything we do is really from shipping of that perishable nature. So I think from a really looking at somebody doing direct to consumer drop shipping of cold ship orders, we're right there in comparison, and really built out a program to do it in the most cost effective way for our customers, and breaking down the costs based on what are the materials going in there, right? So we're picking the order, but making sure that that pricing is consistent with the actual box size that you're being used, and you're only being you're being charged based on the ice consumption based on the heat sensitivity of your product to really make sure that it's, custom tailored to your business and what the requirements are there, and not a blanketed, here is the, you're a refrigerated product, here's your price, you're a frozen product, here's what that will cost.
Yeah, I mean, I've ordered Genius Juice just to see how the package comes in, right, from Green Rabbit. I think every owner does that with their partners. They kind of spot check things once a month. And I noticed that it's packed in there like really good. So number one, it's not going to move around. So something's not going to break in transit. Number two, you're using every square inch or almost every square inch of that package. What really shocks me, you guys order from Amazon, a lot of people watching order from Amazon, is how much room is in those boxes. Like, you would think the second or third highest market cap, valued company in the world would figure this out. They do things, one thing they do, which I like, is if you order two things that are coming on different days, they say, would you like to merge that into one box? And it will come on the later day. So they do that to try to minimize, wasted, space. But I mean, I ordered golf pants, the other day, random, but I can't find 34 by 32 in any stores. So I have to order on Amazon. So I order it, it comes in a huge box, and you shake the box and you can hear it moving in the box. So it's just, I don't really have a question here, more of a statement that Amazon is just not efficient in utilizing every single inch of that box. And it's shocking that they haven't figured that out yet. But
we have a notification on your name, Alex, right? So when you place an order, we get the notification, we send it to your customer success manager. They make sure it's hand packed out and comes perfect. But no, thank you. Thank you for those kind words on that one. I mean, I think that is without carrying 1,000 different box sizes to make sure every item fits perfectly, certainly something that we pride ourselves in, of, making sure that we have the right available box sizes to be that closest fit, to our customers, not only reducing waste, but also cost, for our partners.
Exactly right. All right. Well, we got 8 minutes here. So let's get into the stuff we love. Tony, this is a segment where we just talk about a couple products that have kind of graced our fridge or our pantry that we love. Wade, I'm going to kick it off to you. And Tony unexpectedly has to think of something that he really likes because he wasn't.
All right. So I've got two that I'll share. One is a new twist on something that I've talked about before, and one is completely new to me. So the completely new one is this stuff. This is great. I gotta get my screen ready here so I can tell you. It's Arbo's cheese dip. Have you seen this?
I have not seen that. I like the name though.
So this one is this is queso, and it says cheese for mafia. This is queso blanco. There's a spicy and there's original, and it's great stuff. And I got my samples yesterday, and I've almost killed the spicy by myself. I don't know that Renee's gotten any of it. I was trying to, but the owner, the founder, is Andrew Arbogast, and I can show you the spicy. But like I said, it's almost gone because I've been munching on it quite a bit. But it's great stuff. So far, I've only used it as a dip, but I'm probably going to try some mac and cheese, some nachos, and I don't know what other stuff I'll get into. But Andrew sent me the dips. He sent me a couple coasters, a t-shirt, good stuff. So if you haven't tried it, check it out. I don't have to check the website here. arbosdip.com. Cool. So the other one, I got these as a surprise the other day. Daily Crunch, right?
Oh, wow.
Did you get the spiced chai pear though? This is the seasonal. This is LTO.
I did not. I only got the sprouted and I got the Nashville hot.
Well, they're all sprouted, but this is the seasonal flavor. So this is a spiced chai pear, and it's delicious. So thank you, Laurel and Dan at Daily Crunch. And so that's what I've got.
Okay, so I'll just do this really quickly. I mean, it goes without saying that every episode or almost every episode I mention these guys. Coconut Cold. Our buddy Ari, as part of just being a loving sponsor, a loving guy, an amazing guy, just forget even business, just as a human being, an individual. We love him, and he's so friendly and open and giving. But as a businessman, as a CEO of Coconut Cold, he's doing a damn great job running their company. And he sent me and Wade. I don't know if you got yours yet, Wade. I got mine.
You open the door, and I guess this might, in a roundabout way, be a plug for Tony and Green Rabbit here. So mine has been sitting at the FedEx hub in Greensboro since 4:00 this morning. So
you gotta go over and get that.
Yeah, 4:35 a.m. this morning, it arrived at the Greensboro FedEx facility, and it's still there.
Someone's got to get fired for that at FedEx. So I'm
gonna have to track it down for you, Wade.
Yep. See?
So this is their seasonal. It's the apple pie, and Ari sent an apple pie and also the pina colada flavor, which you'll be getting. But the good thing is, Wade, is that if it's temperature, you know where I'm going with this.
Yes. Yep.
If it's fermented, it's even better.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm good. I got it covered.
Wait until Christmas. Open it up on Christmas.
Good stuff.
You know how much that's going to explode. It's going to go to the ceiling. Daily Crunch. I got this at my local store. I love it. The other one that is kind of this like dark horse brand that seems to be growing slowly but surely is 12 Tides. I fucking love these chips. It's in a compostable packaging, which you can feel. It's kelp. It's roasted kelp with cassava, tapioca, sunflower oil, onion, some sauce, kale and garlic, and sea salt. It's all organic. And they actually help the ocean by irrigating kelp and forming it in the chips. These are delicious. They're not salty. They're delicious. I said delicious twice, but they are. All right. We have a few minutes here. I know you have the hard stop. Let's go into what you love. And then we'll go into our, Tony, what you love. And then we'll go into our sponsor.
I came unprepared, so they're down in my pantry. But my wife, she doesn't like, shoes or purses or fancy jewelry, but I got to watch my wallet when we go to Costco. So we found this product completely unrelated to Green Rabbit, no endorsement here. Heavenly Hunks, right, from E&C Snacks. It's this dark chocolate granola hunk, right? Really kind of in the better for you space as I'm looking here at the nutritional, but no GMO, dairy free, certified vegan, gluten free snack. Was just something we passed by on the shelf, caught our eye. Love the dark chocolate, and we've already been back for a second bag.
Cool. All right. So that is stuff we love. We're going to get into our next segment here, which is Friday freebies. Okay. So I know, Wade, you're running out of time here. We'll get this down to a few minutes. Are you good to go a little over?
Yeah, we can do it quick. I just have to get ready. So
you are ready. You got your quantum.
I'm not wearing. I love you, Bendos, but I'm not wearing a Quantum Energy squares to my company Christmas party.
Take out the ugly sweater.
Maybe next year. Well, it's beautiful, Michael. It's beautiful. But no. You had a question, Alex?
I do have one. So our sponsor, by the way, I'm just going to race through this.
I was going to say I've got it pulled up. You want me to read it?
Yeah, if you can read it very fast, which I know you can.
I've got it. It's your friend and mine. It's Gavin Conkle and Blackbird Foods. Blackbird Foods is an artisanal producer of plant-based pizza, seitan, not Satan, seitan, and now their brand new product, Wings. They self-manufacture and only use natural, non-GMO or organic ingredients in their New York City facility. We hope you enjoy their amazing vegan and kosher products that are naturally high in protein and free from ingredients you can't pronounce. And Gavin is giving away, and Blackbird Foods, I should say, wings, pizza, and T-shirts, $100 value. And guess what? Gavin texted me live. This isn't scripted. This is live. Gavin texted me live and said he's got a backpack to throw in too. So wings, pizza, t-shirts, backpacks. He's hooking you up. Gavin, thank you. Blackbird Foods, thank you.
Oh my. And I think he's taken a nice play out of Guru's playbook with the backpack,
Right?
Because Guru sent us backpacks for their sponsorship. So carry your frozen pizzas, keep them insulated in that backpack. Or if you're hiking, you can also carry a pizza in that backpack, right? Who doesn't want pizza when you're hiking? So I got a question. I'm just going to say it or ask it. Wade, you were mentioning that something arrived. It's coconut cold. That's too easy. And it arrived at the FedEx Center. What time in the morning?
Ooh.
What's the exact time that Wade said that it hit the FedEx Center in Greensboro, North Carolina?
Nice.
You were double checking it, right, Wade?
Yeah, I was double checking it. I knew, but I was like, Renee's in the background, and she knows the hour, but she doesn't know the minute. So, while we're waiting, I'm going to go ahead and talk about V-Driven again, Alex. V-Driven again is our ongoing sponsor. V-Driven's CPG partner for emerging purpose-driven brands. They fuel growth and innovation by providing strategies and support in every phase of the retail journey. From leadership coaching, brand management, accounting, sales strategy, to day-to-day tactical support, they can be the end-to-end solution for the brand's business needs. Their leadership team has decades of real-life experience in all key areas of the business, knows what it takes to help brands succeed. That's V-Driven and Luke Abbott. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, V-Driven. Thank you, Luke. Love you, buddy. All right. So there's a lot of answers coming through. There's a little delay. It always happens, Tony, with these answers, but
they're piling it.
Are those accurate?
To look here. We were really close. If we're going down to minute, no one's got it yet. But the first one, if I'm looking at it, that was close. I have to go back. I was worried what I said. I don't know if I said the exact minute or not, but
you said it.
It's 4:35 on my, but I see 4:30 here from a couple people. So maybe I'm not sure what I said. If I said 4:30 or 4:35.
Yeah, I think I heard 4:35. That's what I heard. That's what I wrote down, I believe. So, so what do you want to do? The answer's out of the bag. Do you want to give it to the closest?
I say we give it to the first one that was closest. Yeah, because we're running short on time.
All right. So we got Kenny. You're the winner. I know you're in Hawaii. So if you want the product, you want the prize, we'll send it out to you. If you want to gift it to someone, you can gift it to Julie, who came in second for the answer. So just let us know, FridayVibes100@gmail.com. Make sure to reach out. Tony, if someone wants to reach Green Rabbit, how do they reach you?
Yeah. So our website is greenrabbit.com. There's a nice contact us place there. I think Wade put my email in the chat. Certainly reach out to me. We can connect you with the right people. That would be Tony.Stevenson, STEVENSON @greenrabbit.com.
Cool. All right. So thank you, everyone, for joining us, episode 45. Next week, we're going to have it on Thursday. So it's going to be on a Thursday, December 8th. And we have a special guest, which is going to be Jake Carls, not only with Midday Squares, and they're going to be the sponsor as well. So make sure to join us next week, Thursday, not Friday, 2:30 p.m. Pacific, 5:30 Eastern Standard Time. Tony, thank you so much for joining us on episode 45. Thank you for the partnership as well. Wade, enjoy the Christmas party.
Thanks. See you guys.
Have a good one.